now have time for a few questions, and we will start with Xavier Deralma, if I'm correct, from North Macedonia. So the floor is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity. Well, Minister Kuleba, we have observed successive waves of Russian propaganda narratives aimed at Western countries, which, with the intention of discrediting and obstructing their efforts to provide aid to Ukraine. Well, how effective has their campaign been so far? And what measure do you believe governments and non-governmental actors should prioritize in combating Russian propaganda? In that context, of course, coming from North Macedonia, how would you assess the role of North Macedonia in the efforts to support Ukraine's fight for freedom? Thank you.
Well, I think that on large, the Russian propaganda is not as successful as it pretends to be, because we see that the assistance packages continue to be adopted. Polls across various Western countries demonstrate that the people stand by Ukraine. Governments continue to be, Western governments continue to be committed to supporting Ukraine. But we will definitely see a spike in Russian propaganda efforts in the upcoming weeks and months, in light of the first upcoming European elections in the European Union and elections in the United States. So there will be more and more of Russian propaganda, and Russia will spare no effort to accuse Ukraine of any type of crime in an attempt to discredit it and to diminish the support that Ukraine enjoys. So we have to remain vigilant, we have to counteract. The most recent example, of course, is the attempt of Russia to link Ukraine, or to accuse Ukraine of being involved in the shooting at this Crocus concert hall in Russia. These statements are false and absurd. This is not how we work. This is not how we fight for ourselves. Atrocious crimes against civilians is rather Russian practice, as we've seen in the last 2 years of Russian aggression against Ukraine. But yes, they will try everything to black-mouth Ukraine, to discredit Ukraine, and Russia literally has no red lines when it comes to their attempts to discredit Ukraine in the eyes of the whole world. When it comes to I think the problem is less in the Russian propaganda and more in the Russian. The problem is less in the Russian propaganda that knows no red lines, but is more in the Western governments that draw too many red lines for themselves when it comes to supporting Ukraine in its fight against the Russian aggression. So the ball is not on the Russian side in that sense. But we have to be vigilant, we have to counter Russian propaganda, and unfortunately, you cannot defeat Russian propaganda by using tools of the freedom of the media and freedom of expression. You have to be tough on Russian journalists, tough on Russian propaganda outlets, because if you allow them to operate in your country, make no mistake, they will sow divisions and make every effort to destabilize your country. When it comes to North Macedonia, of course, your country is a good friend, and you've done a lot in this last 2 years compared to your capabilities. You've really done a lot to help us, as much as we did to help you in the 90s. Thank you.